I don't know how to send it to an email. I don't know what I'm doing. I hope I did it right. Hmm. I don't know which one to click. They should be both the same. Got my pathy. We're good to go. So I took this was actually purple, and I took put the pink round part here, the blue handle, and made my passy different colors. I don't know how to do it, Anthony's. Only how to do it through a phone. I don't know how to send link through emails. But we got Bill, the bunny, and Big Fat Moo Mark. Carly Moo Mark. Love him. It says I can only go live on my cell. I want to do it on. I didn't do it last time on your laptop. I don't. Oh, try to send her another link. Let's see if this works. I sent it multiple times. I don't know how to do it, Anthony's. I'm not really a computer wazzle dazzle. Sorry, not my time. I think I sent it to your email. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know how to do fucking email. You know this. I'm running to email. I don't. Two people watching. Hi. We're gonna have a good topic. If my aunt gets. She wants to know. Oh, she did it. I think. Uh, Did it work on your laptop?
No.
I don't know how to send it. I clicked the link on your thing, and then I tried copying and paste the clipboard. I won't do it.
All right. So, yeah, if you go onto the link, I got to get off of this. Hold on. If I go on the link and click on it, it says that it's only available on the cell phone.
Maybe it's a cell phone thing only. I don't know.
I have no idea. This is like not my thing. It's your thing. I never do this. The last time
I think it's only meant for cell phone. Well, I don't know.
The last time we did it, I was able to come on. Yeah, I went on my laptop.
Well, I don't know how I sent it to you unless you copied it and pasted it From your phone to your laptop, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. It's been a while. So anyway, I just want to say hi. Um, this is
This
my
is my
niece.
Anthony's, everyone.
This is my niece, and no, I'm not into ABDL and all that other stuff. So let's just cut to the chase. I am a heterosexual female. Have been all my life. Um, I don't judge other people. Like whatever your thing is, like do your thing. We're all grown people. Um, you don't need anybody's permission. Um, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, then
Exactly.
right. Anyway, whose ashes?
I have no clue. It's just people watching. I have no clue.
Whatever.
But
You
you
can say
accept
whatever
me.
you want. You want to be like that, that's fine. I just don't care to participate with you. Anyway,
But
so
yeah, I think I don't know. You talked last week about a topic, but I don't know if it was taking like boundaries or if it was taking care of your inner child or maybe loving yourself. I don't know what we're both
we were
bouncing back
talking
and forth.
about we were talking about a lot of stuff because you were dealing with stuff and I was dealing with my own personal issues. And I said to you that when it comes to relationships, I love that.
Be
Relationships can
careful.
be, they're probably like the most, wonderful things that we have. They're the most precious gifts that we have, right? Friendships,
Mhm.
family, or whatever. They're there's tons of memories that we build in our friendships and relationships with our family. Sometimes tears we shed with one another. We love and support each other when we're going through tough times, but oftentimes those relationships come to an end. um and or you know we decide that those relationships just aren't good for us. And that's what we were talking about, that some things just aren't good for us. And instead of spending time, trying to change somebody else or trying to convince somebody else of your point of view, hey, you hurt
Yeah.
me, and or I didn't care for that behavior or whatever. And you keep going through that loop, where you keep
Yeah.
having that same incident happen over and over again with somebody that you're close with, or or even an acquaintance, or coworker, and you talk to that person and you're telling them how you feel, and they just kind of either shut down, they can't apologize, or they'll say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, that
Yeah,
bullshit.
they don't take accountability or they like to reverse it. Like with my situation with the people here, I only been here 3 months. Like we talked, and they rather hang out with people that cause drama. And instead of me, I tried talking nicely to her. I used iMessages to get across, and she still didn't want to acknowledge it. So hang out with drama and negativity. I'm backing away because if I don't, my anxiety is gonna where I get chest pains from this, and they're still strangers. Just because you live in a building with
Well,
me, we're a community neighbors, don't mean we know each other. They're still
okay.
strangers.
So here's the thing. I mean, I'm guilty of this. All of us are guilty of this. And I don't mean guilty in a bad way. Like, we have feelings, we're human beings. And like, the sense of rejection or betrayal sometimes that comes from people that we love or care for, can be really intense. And the thing is, learning not to get caught up in those feelings, or allowing yourself to form your identity based on how other people treat you, you know and for me as an older person, that could be your children, how your children, your identity for a long time is invested in being a mother and nurturing other people. And you hope to have healthy relationships, and sometimes those relationships aren't all that you'd hope they would be. And the thing is not to allow what other people say about you or do to define who you are, and that's why it's called self-worth, self-esteem, because we determine our worth and we determine our esteem. God bless you. You know,
Thank you.
somebody can get pissed off and say a lot of shit, and or just be kind of shady or whatever, or sometimes it can be really intense where that's it. There's just no going back. I've reached a point in my life where I just can't participate in unhealthy stuff with other people. And I realized that other people would love me to take all the blame all the time. And I can't do that. And I'm not a perfect person, and I'm willing to own my part in any interaction or relationship issue with somebody. But if the other person doesn't want to be accountable, I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince that person of where I'm coming from if they are determined to misunderstand me, you know, and,
Yeah.
or categorize me or label me or whatever. I'm just not going to participate. That's the time that I can say, you know what? I need to walk away, or I need to get off the phone and just do it. And then just kind of sit with yourself and realize that that person has their own issues and they're entitled to. We're all fucked up. We're all just human beings, and we're in this big school of life learning to become better human beings and have healthier relationships. And communication is really the most important thing in relationships, and a lot of us don't have it down to us. None of us have it down to a science, especially when emotions get in the way, especially when we're angry, especially when we have so much invested in a relationship. It's easy to lose our cool and just kind of fall through the cracks and feel ourselves falling into this dark place, you know, and thinking, this will never change, but there's always hope for change. I like to believe that if somebody values your friendship or your presence, let's just call it your presence, keep it simple. If somebody really values your presence in their life, they may take time to sort through their feelings, but eventually they'll
Is your
come
phone
around.
plugged in? Is your phone plugged in just in case? Because it sucks up
Yeah,
a lot of battery. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I have it plugged into I can plug it into my couch now. I have this, you know, power recliner thing, so I can plug it in there too. Anyway, eh, relationships are not easy. I don't care how old you are. Sometimes, we think we've got it down, we've learned a lesson, and maybe we've gotten better at certain things in relationships. But even at my age, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Here's something I learned in therapy, and it's that you have a right to whatever it is your feelings, whatever your feelings are. And when you tell somebody how you feel, you got to
Hi
understand
everyone.
something, because as women, we have this habit of doing, what you did last night, I didn't
You're
like
breaking
it.
up. I don't know why.
The worst thing you can do as a woman is go at your partner and say, hey, I didn't like what you said, or I didn't like what you did. What I learned in therapy was you can approach a person and say, listen, something happened. Something you said or something you did triggered me, it caused me to feel whatever. I'm not blaming you,
Mm.
but I would prefer if you handled it this way next time. Like, let's say somebody shows up at your house doesn't call you, just shows up. I don't know about you, but I don't like when people do that. So if somebody shows up at your house, and I'm just using something very random and very like simple, um, they show up at your house unannounced, no call, right? There was a time that I would be like really pissed off and I would tell them off. Here's the thing. You don't have to allow it to upset you. You can just simply say to the person, listen, I realized that you showed up last night and I didn't really care for the fact that you didn't call me and let me know. Sometimes I'm not up to company. Sometimes I could be feeling unwell, or maybe I have uh, something else that I'm doing. So I'd appreciate in the future if you would call me first and try to set up a time and a day that's good for both of us. And then this way, there's nobody that's the bad guy, you know? But you'll find that even if you handle it that way, sometimes people get defensive. People get defensive because they don't want to be made to feel bad. So if we say to our partner, uh, what you did last night, I didn't like it. It really hurt my feelings. Men, especially men, are very conditioned to be performance oriented in the bedroom, out of the bedroom, whatever. Their sense of esteem comes from being able to provide, whether that is uh, financially or emotionally to their partner. So when you come out of your face with, hey, what you did, I didn't like it, it hurt my feelings, and then that's the end of conversation. No, that's not going to go over. But if you
Yeah.
simply just say, listen, that really hurt me, and I, it kicks up a lot of shit for me, or it makes me feel not, not valued, or it felt like criticism to me or whatever. In the future, I would really, would like that you handle it this way with me. So this way my feelings don't get hurt, and that person might say, oh, hey, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it, and that's cool. And the next time, maybe they will handle it differently. Or maybe that person's just a slow fucking learner, and they're going to turn around and they're going to say, wow, okay. And then the next time, they're just still going to do the same shit because
Well, it's
they're
like
still
these
in a learn.
people, same thing.
They're still stuck in their shit. Now, if you want to sit around and mope and feel bad about the fact that that person's not, whatever,
Reaching
respecting
out.
you, they're not doing this, for me, they're treating me like this. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the other person and what they're capable of or not capable of, and when you get that intellectually, this isn't about me. The way that they're acting has nothing to do with me. It's where they are. It's just where they are within themselves emotionally and mentally. I don't have to make it about me. I might not like it. So this might be an opportunity for me to set a boundary, or this may be an opportunity for me to learn that I can't have that expectation with that particular person. They are not able to meet my needs. And that's when you have to cut the cord, you know? And it's not easy because we'd like to
No,
keep people in our lives.
we're trying to make friends even where I live is difficult. Like I told you last time, like she hangs out with the person downstairs from me who's made issues and drama and she knows it. My neighbor hangs out with her and one has my number, even though I blocked her, but even 2 weeks ago when I didn't block her, she never calls me. They're always outside. I see them from the parking lot window because I face the front, unfortunately. And they all hang out and da 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 da, but they never invite me to come out, never, but they always talk to the idiot that they talk shit about downstairs and be fake phony friends. And then when I say something and question them about it, they change the conversation or say, "Oh, I have a different relationship with him than this one," or "I wouldn't tell her what to do and she could hang out with him and I'm still friends with her." And I'm like,
You need to change the narrative. You know, the one person we spend the most time with is ourselves. You know, and when you're nursing that resentment in your head, because I've heard you tell me this story the same way over and over again, which means that you're telling yourself that same story all the time. And you know what? That story does not make you feel good. Every time you rehearse it, you're hurting yourself. So when you start to take your power back and say, you know what, that person can do whatever the fuck they want. It has nothing to do with me. If that person chooses to hang out with those kind of people, well, that's not, somebody I really want to have a friendship with. There are other people out there that are more mature, that are more whatever, they're more for you than somebody like that, you know. But when you say it the way you're saying it, it's like you're making yourself into a victim, and I don't believe that there are any victims. I believe there are volunteers. When somebody shows you who they are, you know the saying, right? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So when somebody shows you that they're not capable of commitment, that relationship isn't going anywhere. So why stick around? And if you're going to keep bitching about it to your friends, after a while, your friends aren't going to want to hear it because you're the one who is participating. You are responsible for your own happiness and well being. Nobody else is coming to save you. Only you can save yourself. And the way that we save ourselves is by changing the way that we think about the situation and the way that we talk about the situation, apparently, because we're talking about it in our heads, right? Like I said, most of the time, what other people do, it has nothing to do with us. Sometimes
well,
people can be negligent, right, in
well,
relationships.
I even said to my therapist, I'm like, I can't give you a reason why I want to be friends with her. And she told me, well, I'm going to give you some options here. Let's see if this makes sense. And she says, after what you told me how she is and you were being honest and truthful, I would want to hang out with her personally if she's hanging out with the enemy downstairs who called the cops and you make false accusation, blah, blah, blah. Never calls you, never texts you, but always calls him and the girl next door to you to go hang out outside. And it's been, what, over a month? You've been there 3 months and they still don't do nothing? So why do I want to hang out with her? She goes, either A, you want to drive a wedge between them, and it's not really narcissistic. She said you are a good person, but she's like, you're forcing someone to want to be your friend, and you're not. It's not reciprocated, so why bother? I said, but why does she want to hang out with somebody who lies, causes drama, and is very just
Why is that any of your business? Why do you care? Like, who are you, God? You
No,
know
but I
what I
care
mean?
because I feel like you would think you'd want to hang out with me as a friend because I don't do that. But you want to hang out with my
So,
enemy downstairs.
in other words, you feel rejected. You feel rejected. Okay, let's keep it really simple. You feel rejected, but let's summarize that person. If I told you that there was a person that was supposedly my friend, but they were hanging out with somebody that was causing me a lot of headaches and drama, is that person really a friend?
No, but they're friends with everybody else, though, which don't make sense. But then they
No,
call
no,
me
no,
their
no,
friend.
no, 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 no. Is that person, it doesn't matter what they are to anybody else. What are they to you? How are they to you? Look at the behavior. By their fruits, you'll know them. So is that a lemon tree? Is that an apple tree? And if you're getting lemons, if you're seeing a tree and there's lemons on it, that's what you can expect. So if you don't like lemons, then don't hang around the fucking tree. You know what I mean? And you're talking about a person who kind of, makes nice with you just to kind of keep the peace with you, but that it's like you're not going to get that person to take sides. That person has nothing to do with the fucking issue with the idiot that lives in your building. He just has nothing better to do. He's probably quite miserable and likes to stir up shit. He's got major issues, but that's not about you. You just do what you need to do to steer clear of him. Why that other person wants to hang out with him and not you? Who gives a shit?
Hmm.
Because who is for you is for you. People that love you and like being with you are going to make time for you. And people that don't, she sounds like maybe she just doesn't want to be involved.
She kind of is, because the fact that she told me privately in her apartment when I first met her, when I petted the cat like a month ago, oh, I can't stand him. I'm trying to break the friendship off. He's annoying.
Well, then
I asked her, why do you hang out with him? She couldn't give me an
she's
answer.
two-faced. She's two-faced. She speaks out of both sides of her face, and she showed you who she is. Why the
So is
fuck
my
would you
neighbor.
want to be with
That's
friends?
it.
Why would you want to be friends with somebody who's two-faced? So she'll talk shit about him to you. That means that when she's with him, she probably talks shit about you. And that's not a person who's a friend, because a friend is a person
That's
that
what Lauren
speaks well
said.
of you when you're not around.
That's what
You
Lauren
know,
said.
and he's right. So why would you want to be friends with somebody who's just, two-faced? That's like hanging out with a snake, they got that forked tongue, speaking out of both sides of the face. It's a snake.
Well, she appeared to be nice over the whole cat thing, and I thought I first person I opened up to since I moved here, and I thought maybe and then I tried being nice to my neighbor, and that was another just big no. It's like at the two strikes you're out. I'm done. I'm not going to go for a third. So now I just stay to myself, quiet, don't go out, don't talk to them, don't say hi, and that's what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks.
Well, you also just moved in there, so it's going to take time to find your tribe. You
If I
can't
even want to
expect.
try, at this
I
point, I give
mean,
up.
I live in New York City. Nobody speaks fucking English, so I don't really talk to many people either. And I don't go out past a certain hour because it's changed here. There's a lot of crime. Um, but I'm very cautious about who I let into my life. As you get older, you become even more cautious because you know what? You just don't have time for the bullshit. You're like good with your own company. You just want to enjoy your day and your time, and you don't need all that drama. I think when you're young, you kind of like in a perverse way enjoy the drama. I mean, we've all been in like chaotic relationships when we were younger because we didn't work on our shit. We had issues, and we did a lot of finger pointing and blaming the
Taking
person
people's
we were involved
inventory.
with. But meanwhile, when you stop and you think about it, there was a reason why you were in that relationship. And when you start looking at yourself and start working on healing your own garbage, you know, um, then you don't have any interest in that person anymore or being with anybody like that person anymore. So again, with this, the issue is always with self. You know, you have choices. But again, if you keep on playing the same story in your head, and the thing is, how can you change the story that you're telling yourself? First of all, you have to remove yourself as a victim because I hear a little victim mentality. This is being done to you. It's not being done to you. It has nothing to do with you. This is a person that doesn't have the capacity to really be honest.
But they have the capacity to hang out with the idiot downstairs and my neighbor, and they're all buddy buddy yak yak yak, and they make time
But
for them and the
why do
effort, but
you
not me.
care? Why do you
I
care?
shouldn't care. I know I shouldn't. Because I assumed that they were trying to be friendly, but that's my stupidity reading into it wrong. Maybe they're being acquaintance, or was it, what does the one say? Is it like I'm learning this through therapy, which I didn't know in the Jewish community because they didn't have that there. A pyramid of a pyramid of tier friendship. Like you got best friend, acquaintance. What's the other one? I can't think of the other one. Where you just casually say hi. I didn't know that this shit existed until after I left, and then now here I am in the world, and there's different levels of tier levels of like friendship, and growing where I grew up, it's either you're best friends and you hang out every day, or you're not friends at all, and I can't seem to comprehend that in my fucking head. It's even my therapist like, well, there is a gray area whether you want to acknowledge it or not. I'm like, but why small talk? Why do the bullshit? Let's just hang out and be best friends, or not at all. And she's like, there you go again. You keep putting everything in either black or white or one box or nothing at all. I said, I can't help it. It's how I am.
Well, that black and white thinking is going to keep you alienated. It's going to keep you isolated. So that's really not healthy. I mean, I know people, like even my neighbor, like we don't hang out all the time, but we're like we just text each other back and forth. We stay in touch now and then, we talk, whatever, but we're not like best buds. He's a good person and he likes me as a person, and I'm good with that. I don't want to be with somebody every single day. you know um again, it comes down to changing the inside of yourself. Happiness is an inside job. Nothing changes in our lives until we change. And you have to get to a point sometimes where you will let yourself feel whatever it is you're really feeling deep down inside. And it could be real deeply depressed, repressed anger. Who else in your life was two-faced? I can think of somebody in your family.
Yeah, we're not going to go there with names, but
No,
yes, I get it.
we're not gonna go there, but you feel that person, you know, was two-faced. Like,
Yeah.
and there's still feelings from that. Like I said, you just moved in there, so you need time. You need
I
time.
guess from observing, it's like you invite me. I was only in the neighbor's apartment once to pet the cat she's got, and the other lady named Mary, she's got two cats. And I was only in their apartment one time each, but I just don't get how they both told me, oh, I don't like. I'm just gonna say his name, Marcus, whatever. I don't like him, blah blah blah. But then you're out there hanging out with him, and then when I confront the issue and say, well, you're being a fake phony person, she's like, well, I wouldn't tell Mary what to do, and I'm her friend. I just deal with it. And she's like, no offense, but you're young, so I could sit with someone I don't like and still be friends with someone else if they hang out with them. I said, well, I can't do that. To me, that's being fake and phony. I can't sit there hang out with my enemy, regardless of my friends hanging out with them. I just can't do that. That's to me, I just
Okay,
can't.
let me give you for instance. My children, well, my son anyway, is friends with well, with one of my exes on Facebook.
Ew,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
All right. Knowing the history, knowing the history,
That's so stupid. But
seeing
okay.
seeing the pain that it caused me, but they're friends with them on Facebook. I'll give you another example. I was in an abusive marriage when I was, younger, my 20s. My family were friends with him on Facebook. They went through 5 years of that with me. Now, I personally, when I saw that, like thought, what the hell? But I realized something. Just because they're called my family, just because we're blood, doesn't mean they're really my family.
Yeah, I get it.
Because, there's a thing called loyalty. And loyalty to me is everything. You can have love without loyalty.
Here it comes off the
But
bus too.
love without loyalty, I'm sorry, baby, but that doesn't work for me. If you can't be loyal to me, then I can't trust you. Because you're just, looking out for number one, which I got to start doing more for myself. What is that? The friend of a friend is my friend, and a friend that's of an an enemy of an enemy is my enemy. No, wait, an enemy of my something. An enemy of my enemy is, it could be whatever. It's like, do I really want to hang out with somebody that can befriend somebody that knows somebody caused me so much pain? And I've had friends do this too, and they tell me, listen, that's between you and that person. You had an intimate relationship of whatever kind, but that person didn't do anything wrong to me. You guys had issues. It didn't work out, and that's it. And they don't have a problem when they see that person. Not that they're like best buds, but like
Well, these
that's
two are just. I don't know. I just
I
gonna
can't
like Daddy
tell.
said, just give back on it.
I
I
You
don't.
can't tell other people who they can be friends with and who they can't be friends with. The issue,
That's what
really,
my therapist said.
I'm sorry to, hurt your feelings, but you don't get to tell other people who they could or shouldn't hang out with, you know, and people are going to make their own choices, and let her find out for herself.
Well, like Daddy said, she likes drama. She's 62 years old. The other one's fucking 55, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, that's their ages. And the idiot downstairs is like 31, 30, and it's like,
And
I
meanwhile,
just
la la
feel
la la la, they're going on with their lives and they're having a wonderful day, and you're the one who's still with the tape spinning around in your head and fucking miserable about it. Going to therapy, talking about it in therapy, bitching to daddy about it, complaining about it to me. So who's suffering?
me. They're not.
But that's a choice. You have a choice. Honestly, I would just be like, who gives a fuck? Fuck them.
Well, remember, I never lived in an apartment complex community. I've always had a private apartment for almost 10 years of my life, so
That has nothing to do with it, honestly.
there's a lot of
It's just
personalities here that I'm not
it's
used to.
about people in general. It's about people. People, there's a lot of false face people. They walk around wearing a mask and they present themselves one way to you, but it's not who they really are. And you don't
Mm.
really know until you get really involved with that person who they really are. But here you are, not really involved, and you're getting to see how somebody really is. When you see how somebody really is, and that person's behavior makes you say, something's not right about this person, I don't care what it is, then that's the reason enough for you not to be involved. That's a person, I mean, you want to keep the peace in your building. Hi, how you doing? And you keep it moving. And let her have her issues, and let the other idiot that likes to call the cops have his issues.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, it's just going to take you time to get settled in. Even me, like, I think about moving, and like, I think it's time for me to find my own tribe. But you know what? The world, the way that it is today, most people don't give a flying fuck about anybody.
People are, like Daddy said, selfish, entitled, narcissistic. It's just growing up in the 90s, like he told me, he didn't. How did you make the thing green? That's cool.
I don't know. A thing just came up and did it.
Wow.
There's like a like a pencil thing on the side, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have it. Maybe it's just on your
Oh,
end.
green screen. No, I don't want it. Okay, now it's gone.
No, like you said, let's go back to where you were 3 months ago. It'll be 4 months soon, next month. But like, ignore people. Don't talk to them. Don't give them say hi and bye. They're just gonna use it against you. And my therapist thinks I'm sabotaging myself, but it's like, no, I've been using abuse my whole life. I'm sick of it. So what's the? They don't even deserve a hi, good morning, how are you? Because they're just two-faced pieces of fucking cow manure, and it's just not worth it. And I gotta play that in my head multiple times. All I got
Well,
is you, grandma, daddy, and that's it. I'm just like you said, there's strangers that live in a complex building. You don't know them. Just because they're your neighbor, just because they say hi, does not mean they're your friend. And it's hard for me to mentally comprehend this because growing up in a fucking Jewish community, there was no such thing. You either knew someone or you
I
don't. You
don't.
either
I
support
I
someone or
don't
you
think
don't.
that is it. I think that that's your that's just a part of your unhealed childhood issues. You still have that childish, childlike thinking, you know, and this is, we're adults now, and not everybody's your friend. And
I
people can look you in the face and smile at you, say hi, how you doing, and then as soon as they get within 10 feet of you, oh, you see that
don't do
bitch, you
that.
see what that it's
Yeah,
like
I'm experiencing it.
it
Yeah.
it's and listen, you can allow it to eat away at you and bother you, or you can just say, hey, that's not my problem. Imagine what it's like to be that person. you know we don't have to walk around judging other people. I'd rather steer clear of that. I'd rather keep my thoughts positive and be, mentally healthy. Enjoy my day, enjoy my life, look for the positive. For me, like, if I'm outside, I always look for like one extraordinary moment. And one time there was a bird that just kind of landed in a tree, and he just stood there, and I was like taking pictures of him, and it was like he was posing for me. The other day I was feeding the birds, and the squirrel came along on my roof. Squirrel came, and he was eating this lone squirrel with the birds, and I thought it was like just so awesome. you know maybe the squirrels like me and you. The squirrel wasn't afraid to go eat among the birds. The birds didn't give a shit that the squirrel was there eating the bread. Didn't bother the squirrel. And the squirrel was there just kind of getting his own needs met. You have to focus on what you need, what's good for you, what works for you. And maybe what I'm kind of hearing is that you would like to have more friends. You
At
would
least
like to
one.
have, yeah, but you would like to have some sort of a social circle. I mean, socialization is good for us as, people, but just like you used to have school, there was a time when school was okay, like when you lived in a different area. But here where you are now is not, it's very toxic. So you have to find someplace else where you can do that. Some people go to 12-step meetings and they make, acquaintances. Sometimes those acquaintances turn into friendships, sometimes they don't. I mean, I went to Al Anon, and my sponsor became very close with me. She became my son's godmother. See, you never know. You never know.
Is there really like I know it's not talked about in the Hasidic community or acknowledged, but like on the outside world that are non-Jews that belong in the community, or is there really a triangle period of different tier levels of friendship? Like, is there really one called best friend, friend, acquaintance, associate, gathering associate. Like, I'm learning all these new terms in therapy, and I'm like, who the hell invented this shit? It's so stupid. Why? And then you have to small talk people. It's like, who wants to do small talk? Let's just hang out. It baffles me because I never learned this. I grew up closed minded, small town. I'm not used to this. And then I don't, I just can't comprehend it. It doesn't.
So you
It's
think
not
that
ringing
everybody
bells.
you think that everybody should just be friends?
Yeah, like why do this? Maybe it's my autistic brain kicking in, but why do small talk? Let's just get like talk, be friends, hang out every day, watch movies,
Because
play with
because a
toys.
certain there's a has to be a certain level of trust
That's what Daddy
for
said.
you to share that much of yourself with somebody. I don't know about you, but and especially as somebody who grew up with whatever, dysfunction and having trust issues, abandonment issues, betrayal issues, you know,
Yeah.
abuse. Usually people that come from families like that have issues where they don't get close right away. They don't tell people everything. And, it's not safe to do that. Not everybody is safe, and it's okay. It's a way of taking care of yourself. I can be friendly with people and not tell them my business. Just hi, how you doing? Or maybe the next time I see them, well, now, after spending 2 years knowing that person and seeing they're true to their word, if I tell them something, they don't repeat it to anybody, you know, friendship has to be earned.
That's what
Trust has
therapist
to
and
be
Daddy said.
earned.
Uh,
It has to be earned. Your heart is the most precious gift that you have to give in a relationship to somebody. And your friendship is also, because that, having a friendship entails some form of intimacy, right? I like to take that word intimacy and say into me see. I'm letting you see inside of me, but in order for me to do that, I have to trust you. And to have those, boundaries in place for yourself is healthy. Maybe, just maybe, you haven't acquired that for yourself yet.
what?
Well, I don't know who this
I never
person
said
is,
that, but
but
okay.
first of all,
I don't
let me
know.
set the record straight for you. Okay. We're biracial, our family. Okay. So I don't think that Black people are evil. I think some people can be evil no matter what color they are, but I don't think that Black people are evil. So if you came in here to start shit, you're talking to the wrong person. Have a nice day. Oh, you see? The person deleted their comment.
Huh.
It is that's a good example right there. People, just like you're walking around with all that in your head, other people are walking around with yuck in their inside of themselves. And that's why I don't just let anybody in. I used to be very trusting, you know. I love being around people. I'm outgoing, I'm very friendly. But I've gotten burned way too many times. And people see niceness as a weakness, unfortunately. Because, but I'll tell you something, it takes an incredible amount of strength to remain kind and loving person in the world, that we live in. It takes a lot to remain that way
Something fell.
and
Hold on.
not let all the, the other uglies get to you and make you just say, I might as well join a crowd. Not my kind of crowd. Hello, little kitty.
Yeah, that was my mom's blanket on her bed, and I took it and hung it up as like a poster. And then I have another one that where is it? I have this one that I sleep with, another kind. They're old. I even have her pillowcase, another pillowcase that's old. I have the curtains in the closet. Bob let me
So
have something.
somebody, did you see this comment? She's basically lying to you. So are you referring to the girl that's supposed to be her friend that talks shit about the other guy? I think that's what she means. So the girl that's like supposedly friends with you and goes and hangs out with the guy that she talks shit about is lying to you. That's what I was saying to you before. She's like a snake with forked tongue. Thank you, Princess Cat. She's basically lying to you.
Okay.
And why would you want to be friends with somebody that can't be honest? I mean, isn't that essential in relationships? I mean, I know I'm older and this is a different generation, but first it's trust that has to be earned. And in order to be friends or anything, you have to have trust. That's the foundation. And in order to have trust, there has to be honesty. And once you catch somebody in line and you see that somebody's just straight up like, not walking the way they talk, that's not somebody you can be friends with. You can't trust them. She's referring to Emily. Who's lying to Emily? Princess Cat.
I can't be responsible for my alters. Don't throw that in my face, please. I don't feel like I have the paperwork, but I shouldn't have to prove my diagnosis on paper because it has personal information on it. But sorry for what other people say. I don't know what to tell you. I've never reconciled what they say.
Who's is she saying that you're lying about what your
I don't
diagnosis
know.
is? I don't even
Maybe
know who this person is. Do
I
you know
don't
who this
know.
person is?
No, it's probably one of my subscribers. It's hard to tell because I don't go on their thing and look. It's someone who watches the channel, so I don't know. But I don't know.
Well, you know what? It's an
Can't
opinion.
be hell for them if you know anything about dissociative identity disorder. You know that, yeah, take accountability, but at the same time, we have no reconcile for what we say or do. That's why it's called an amnesia state of moment where you dissociate. Like, I'm not going to bring up my history, but I've done things I regret or said things, but it's like, sorry, I don't know what else to say.
Hmm. Anyway, so again, let's go back to what we're talking about. Well, how do you live in the solution? What is the solution? How do you resolve it with yourself? Because at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. You have to get to a place in yourself where you say, I'm protecting my peace. My
Just not
peace.
socialize with people, don't talk, just stay in my little baby nursery and not come out. Unless I have, actually, I do that now. I only come out once a week to go to therapy. Daddy comes over and sees me, or I go to his house for a day or two. But
Hmm. Okay. But like I
I
said,
think
you have to give yourself time. You've only been there for a short time.
3 months. And after what I've been through, I don't feel like even opening up to anyone else who tries to be nice. Because look what happened. 3 strikes you're out. I'm on 2 strikes. I don't want to do a third one. It's not worth it.
Listen, I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen to me over the last couple of weeks, which I don't even comprehend. And I think part of it is spiritual. You know, everybody can believe in whatever they want to believe in. I believe in that there is a God. And I believe is there are basic principles.
Huh?
This person off the fucking wall or what? Who posted what poop? First, I hope you're not talking to me because I don't even have a TikTok account. I can't be bothered with
No,
that shit. I haven't had a cell
that
phone
was
for
like
most of
2 years
my life.
ago. If that was the case, or if
What
that's the
did you do
case,
that? Did you do that?
yeah, I posted it. I thought it was kind of funny. It's an autistic thing. I don't know. And then I deleted it because I had to, but I just thought it was funny. A picture of
Okay.
poop. Okay. What's the point?
So let me ask this person a question. What is your point in taking Emma's inventory? How does that benefit you?
I
I'll
don't
wait
know.
for an answer. Think about it before you answer me.
But I think back to our topic there, I'm just gonna say introverted is better. And like Daddy says, you can't control what you say about the door. Like I hate people that smoke cigarettes by the bus stop. It annoys me. It triggers me because of my mom with the whole cancer and the cigarettes. So I either move away from the bus stop and wait across the parking lot till the bus gets closed, and I cross the street and get on the bus, or I don't go anywhere and stay home like I've been. Because he told me you have
Mhm.
no control once you walk out the door. The only control you have is in your home. That's it.
The only control you have is inside of yourself. That is your home. Your home isn't just, the walls around you that you live in. This is your home right here. Here and here is home. I would say what I'm doing, and is what I'm doing helpful or
A
hurtful?
little bit. Well, it helps a little
Is
bit. Keeps
is
me
what
safer.
is what I'm thinking helpful or hurtful? And if it's not helpful, why am I doing it? I'm still waiting for Princess Cat to answer my question. But since I didn't get an answer, I'll assume you
Ugh.
don't have one. Maybe you should think about it. So yeah, your home should be
Yeah.
a safe place, right? A safe place. A safe place is my heart is a safe place. My mind is a safe place. My mind can't be a safe place if I'm thinking a bunch of negative fucking thoughts. And I'm in this cycle, in this loop, where I'm just replaying shit over and over and over again. What happened with somebody or whatever. Hey, Sam Gloves, do us a favor and go do your thing some fucking where else.
I keep hearing banging. I don't know.
That happened to me last night. I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning and I heard banging. I was just telling my neighbor they have like around Easter time they build these things out of wood and they put the statues on
When
them like they brought the Blessed Mother to the church, shrouded in black on Good Friday. And it's like, that's fine, but at 1:30 in the morning, they were carrying all this wood and dragging it and banging it, and it woke me up out of a dead sleep, you know? I asked my neighbor, he said he didn't hear it, but his bedroom isn't as far back as mine is, you know? But yeah, it was totally inconsiderate.
I don't know. Like, I just think I was gonna stay to myself, and that's about it. And just talk to my friend Sam that's in Tennessee, and just do virtual play, and we do that a lot, and just play. Like, she'll play with her toys on video camera, like on a live like this, and I'll play with mine, and we have a good time. And maybe one day I'll take a trip out there, take a train ride or something, spend 2 3 days when she gets settled in, or wait here. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just making friends. I feel like, and even Daddy said it, he's like, at his age, he's like, it's dumb to make friends when you're over 30 or over 40 or over 50, because it's like people are just fake and phony. And he's just like, especially in today's society, the world's so corrupt and entitled and very narcissistic. People are just out to use you, like the
I
modern
don't
women.
I don't necessarily agree. I don't think everybody is. I think a lot of people are. I mean, I met my sponsor in recovery in my 30s. I knew him before I got into recovery, and he uh he knew me from childhood, you know, and he was a really super awesome friend to me. He recently passed away. I'm going to his memorial service in June. It's like his whole family lives out of state, so I have to wait. But you know, that but the level of like sharing took time because the trust wasn't there. Because remember something, you know, we all have a certain level of shame. We all have a certain level. You know, you're not going to tell people like your personal business. Some people don't want to fucking hear it. It's too much for them. Maybe they're going through their own shit, you know? Or maybe, you
Yeah,
know,
sure.
or maybe it triggers them.
Ugh. Let's see. Hold on. Move out here. I can hear better. Ugh, it's so windy by me. But because I'm on the top floor, I get a lot of wind. Like, my blinds are smacking back.
Well, that's not good in the winter. That's not good in the winter time, that's for sure.
Well, the winter I moved in the winter, so it didn't bother me. The windows were closed too, so
I want to find this
yeah.
this thing.
Maybe I'll close them later on. Close the blinds, get some like time down for myself when it gets like around 6 o'clock. I tend to close everything just to wind down. Like, it's nighttime, close the blinds. Gotta go beddy bye.
Did you ever hear this saying? When I stopped living in the problem and began living in the answer, the problem went away. From that moment on, I had not had a single compulsion to fill in the blank, whatever your sickness is or whatever it is that's causing you mental anguish. And and acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, or thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my own sickness, I couldn't be happy.
Huh.
I had to learn to live life completely on life's terms. I cannot be happy I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. And that goes right back to what we were talking about before about, you know, not playing God in the world, and thinking, well, this person shouldn't be friends with that person because or, if this person would just be like this, then, everything would be, no. Mm-mm. You have to accept other people as they are. And if you can't accept somebody the way they are, then you got to let them go.
Yeah, I'm learning that now. So I mean, I'm okay. I guess it just honestly, I cried in therapy like 2 minutes, and I stopped crying. So let it out. I'm like, no, 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 because I really do. I'm not being narcissistic. I think compared to him, I am a better friend because I don't call the cops on my neighbors. I don't report anything banging or this or I don't. I'm not petty over a vacuum or someone stomping a little head. A complex is like fucking 75 apartments per in the building. Like you can't handle that kind of lifestyle, then get your own property and move out and get your own house. But
I
like
feel you, but
it just
unfortunately, he lives there. He's the way he is. And you're letting him run space in your head for free is not going to do you any good. Why even think about him? Like my neighbor just said to me, I asked him, "Did you hear the noise last night at 1:30 in the morning?" He goes, "No, but I believe it. They probably did it, that because they don't give a shit." And I said, "Yeah, they
yeah.
suck. There's a bunch of water out on the roof right now because what happens is when, the seasons change, like during the winter time, debris gets stuck in the gutters. And so the water that comes down the pipe on the side of the building, we have garage roofs out here, out my kitchen window. The gutters have to be cleaned out, like every so often, so the water can freely flow out. And instead, there's this huge puddle. So I said, I haven't been able to feed the birds. And my little friend Squiggy, the squirrel that comes around, I don't know if I can share a picture with you. No, I don't know how to do that. But
No.
yeah, so he said to me, look at it this way. The birds come around and they love that big puddle that's outside my window because I have an air conditioner in my window and I can't take it. It's way too heavy. He said the birds are having a ball. They're taking baths in it on nice days when it's sunny out. He goes, and it's like so awesome to just watch them enjoying the water, the little well, it's a big puddle of water that's out there, but they're enjoying it, the birds, And he said, throw the throw the bread out or whatever you're throwing out for them from a different window.
Hmm.
Let them enjoy the water. You know, it's all a matter of perspective, and if
Since
the
I
way I'm
closed since
thinking,
I since I closed the
that
windows and closed the blinds, I feel a little more peace. I don't hear the ruckus outside. I don't hear the wind. I don't hear people in the because unfortunately I'm in the front, not the back, but whatever. But I think I need to start doing that every time I have anxiety, even if it's nice out. Close the windows, close the blinds, and just because I'm still gonna get sun in here because the blinds are white, so it's gonna come
can I
through.
ask you a
But
question? What was the point in going live? I mean, the comments that came up are just ridiculous.
I don't know. I think you have good advice, and like even Daddy, you guys say things that are not on video. Like some people maybe need to hear it, or like some people can maybe identify to a topic we're talking about. Maybe there's something that hits them. I
There's
mean,
like
or
one
sometimes
whole person. There's one whole person watching this video right now, and I don't even want to know what they're doing. I mean, there's a lot of fucked up people on YouTube. and
Or I've been
they're
on for
not on
5 years. I don't know.
they're not on for the right reasons, put it that way. Like that other person coming up and saying something about why you hate old black people, and I'm like, who the fuck like what
I
the
don't
fuck?
hate all black people. Like Daddy says, stereotypes exist for a reason. But I don't hate all. I just hate people who have done me wrong, whether they're white, Asian, whatever. Like the idiot downstairs. He's whatever he is, and he happens to be gay. It doesn't bother me. It just he happens to be that, and me and him don't get along. But it's not because he's that way. It's just his personality sucks, and he's rude and causes problems and drama where I live. That's ridiculous.
Right, and
Because
the
I walk
person
too heavy supposedly,
and
or the
the
fact
other
that he's
person
on before
wants to be
age. It's
friends,
not. It's like
and the other person wants to be friends with him. So I I do I don't want to call it judging. There's a difference between judging and discerning. And it's like if you look at a person and you see the kind of people they hang out with, you
you
have
are
to
who you
ask
hang with.
yourself, is that a person I want to be around? Based on the people that they hang around. Like if somebody's hanging around with drug addicts, there's a good chance they do drugs. If somebody's hanging out with people that don't want to work, don't want to do anything to better their lives, like do I want to hang out with that person? Is
I
maybe
get
they're
it.
just always busy talking shit about other people. Like who wants to be around that kind of negativity? So that's what I'm saying to you is, it's up to you to just make healthy choices for yourself and not take personally anything that other people do. And when you do that, you'll have so much more peace.
But just honestly, just I feel the difference. Like my heart rate's slower. Not just talking to you to help, but close the windows. No more wind. The blinds aren't moving around like a fucking nutbag. And I close the blinds, and it's just still. And I think I needed that.
I like dim lighting in my
Sunlight.
home.
Don't get me wrong. I love
I
my
hate
plant
I
does
hate
great out here, but
overhead
it's like
lights. I don't like overhead lights, especially fluorescents. They really
well,
bug me. You know, I like I
well if I
like
don't have
like
it
hal-
on,
not
you can't
halogen
see me.
lamps,
So
but
let me see.
like torch lamps, lights that flow upwards, or just dim lighting. It makes me feel calmer.
Oh, all right. You can see me. I didn't think you could see me because the light's off and it shines through the living room and kitchen. So no, it's
Like
better. It's just calmer.
when do you usually get cut off of here? Because we're already on over an hour.
We can end it now. It's fine.
Okay. You want to talk on the phone? Or you good?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna probably watch Frozen 2 and watch that with my stuffed animals and my
Girl,
bunnies.
I'm watching Handmaid's Tale tonight. I
I gotta.
love that.
If it comes out
I
on
am.
DVD, then I'll watch it and binge watch it. But I don't know if it's on DVD. I don't think so. All the
I think.
series, I doubt it.
I think maybe just the first season, but I'm
What?
watching the last. Yeah, I'm watching the last season now on Hulu, and I love, 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 love. I mean, once I started watching, I was just like, like I was just looking around for something to watch one day, and I saw that,
Oh,
and
it's a
I
good.
put. Oh my gosh, I couldn't stop watching it. I like binge watched it the whole weekend, and I kept telling
Oh
myself,
yeah.
after this episode, I'm going to bed. After this episode, I'm going to bed, and
And
I
you
just
don't
couldn't
until
stop
you're tired, like
watching.
2 in the morning.
Yeah, it's
But
super,
if you guys want
super.
more videos of me and my aunt, this gets 50 likes and thumbs up. A part 2. If not, it's okay. But I guess I'll call you later tomorrow. All
Okay, and this is for the people with the rude comments.
right.